Welcome back. My name is Ariella Novak, and I'm here at the JNS inaugural conference in Jerusalem at the beautiful Waldorf Astoria. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. This is amazing.
My name is Ariella Novak, and on behalf of Bottom Line Media and JNS, I'm the correspondent for today, bringing you all the background, foregrounds as I call it, and all the in-between information so that you at home feel like you're here with us, and next time maybe you will be. So with that said, welcome again, Hillel Fuld.
Thank you.
So me and you go way back to, Instagram, Twitter wars. No, just kidding. You are a tech expert. Just because you're not doing it now, but you are a tech expert turned Israel advocate. And not one of those people that just turned an Israel advocate because they were not a Zionist. You were always a Zionist, but now it's coming out in every which way via social media, and you've now changed the way you use your platform to be able to share information rather,
right,
to a global audience. Tell me about that.
Right, so October 7th, I realized the world does not need more tech marketing. I had built up a multi-million-dollar consulting business for the past 15 years, basically. It was growing, everything was great, living the dream. But October 7th, I realized I have a unique platform, not only because of its size, but because the audience is, I would say, predominantly left-leaning tech people.
Oh, were you? Oh, in tech,
Yeah.
into the
Right.
tech people, okay.
So I realized I have the ear of the tech world, which is unique. And so I shut down the business on October 7th and been focused on really a mission with two components. One is to be a source of real-time accurate information, which those two things are mutually exclusive, right? If you're real-time, then you can't be accurate.
Oh,
right?
trust me, I know all about it.
So I'm very, very careful with what I post, and I'm proud to say that I've been pretty accurate throughout the war, with very few exceptions. And then the second part of the mission is just really give our people a reason to get up in the morning, like anything positive, any good news, anything inspirational. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's been very gratifying.
Much respect, really. It's not easy. You must receive, I won't call it hate, but a lot of interesting messages.
You can call it hate. You can call it hate.
I didn't know if I should say that.
So my posts have reached 2.5 billion impressions with a B, which is staggering to me. But yeah, the hate is out of control, and it comes from all directions, right? I mean, obviously the anti-Semites.
Do you think there are people that are just doing it for fun?
So that's the thing. There are the anti-Semites around the world, and there are Islamists. I mean, they're just at me 24/7. But then, unfortunately, there's internal hate as well.
And they're at you on Twitter.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. But unfortunately, there's a lot of hate internally as well. Someone in Israel tried to vandalize my Wikipedia page a couple of times. It's internal politics. It's
if that person can change your Wikipedia page, maybe he can change other ones too.
Yeah. It was actually the founder of Wikipedia had to go in personally and lock my Wikipedia page because people were always vandalizing.
I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
It's cool to get the founder of Wikipedia to take care of my Wikipedia page.
Give me his contact.
Yeah. But it's quite difficult. I try not to let it kind of enter, but I'm not going to lie, we're all humans, and so there are days where I'm like, I can't. It's just too much. The hatred is just, again, in all directions, and using any and all resources that they can. They will do anything to bring me down, and sometimes it works. So it's not easy.
So I also work in the world of communications and always educating journalists and people within the media relations realm. It's not an easy job to do, but I've learned very much so, is people don't know everything, but they assume that they know, and then they get upset. Well, you should have known to do X, Y, but they don't know.
Right.
So because of what you're doing, I'm sure you've educated so many people that's both within our area and also outside of the echo chamber. Tell me about that.
Right, so I think the way I describe it is that there are three groups on the internet. One group is our group, right? We don't need convincing, but we do need reinforcing. Right?
And how do we do that?
We don't need enough knowledge.
Correct.
So I'll get back to that. So that's one. The opposite group, I call the Heil Hitler folks, who there's no talking to them. They're just indoctrinated to hate Jews, and they're the guys who walk around saying Jews have horns on their head, like crazy people.
I was asked that actually. You wouldn't know, but at my first job ever, I was working at one of the news networks, and a girl came over to me. She overheard I was leaving early for Yom Kippur. She hovered over my head and looked at me and goes, "Can I ask, how do you hide your horns so well?"
Oh my God.
And I looked at her and I said, "Whatever your name is, that's not a thing. Where are you from?" And she said, "Lancaster, Pennsylvania." And I said, "Well, do people have horns there?" And she looked at me and said, "No." I said, "Well, people in New York also don't have horns."
It's ridiculous. Unbelievable. No, it's really unbelievable. So those people, on the other side, they're not my focus, and I kind of write them off as a loss. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll fish one in, but the vast majority and the people that I'm targeting are the people in the middle. And they're not necessarily pro-Israel, but they're people with integrity.
Open mind.
open mind, they're willing to have a discussion. I'm not saying that they'll necessarily change their mind, but
Right.
they're willing to have a civil discussion.
That's all you need.
So those are the guys that I'm targeting, and I've been very satisfied with the result. I'm getting thousands and thousands of messages from people saying, I changed their mind. Like they just did. It's not even that I changed their mind. I showed them that there's a reality and there's facts, historical facts they just didn't know anything about.
Exactly. People
Right?
always say, they don't know our story.
Right.
Firstly, who's they? And secondly, it's not our story. It's the story. They just didn't know the
Exactly.
the other information, and
Right.
now they do.
Right. So the question about the echo chamber is a good one, and everyone says that. Like, oh, what's the point? I only have 5 friends on Facebook. I'm speaking to my echo chamber, right? I get it. I get the concern. I get the question, but it's just fundamentally false. It's an inaccurate assumption. I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell
Because
me why.
When you post on your Facebook,
Yep.
even if you have one friend, and that one friend shares your post, you just
That's
exited
something.
your echo chamber.
Yes.
You just access their friends, right? So it's not a question of exiting your echo chamber. It's a question of producing content that's good enough for people to share into their chamber, right? So the way the internet and social media works is good content is all that's needed, right? I mean, with all due respect to my whatever number it is of followers on Twitter, there is no correlation at all between the number of followers I have and the number of impressions I have, because it's the content that does well, not the amount of followers.
And just because somebody does not, write back to you doesn't mean that they're not reading it.
Oh,
So
of
thank
course.
you so much for joining me today.
Of course.
I hope we can have more conversations outside
Anytime.
of this. Stay with us on JNS, and we'll bring you another interview right away.